Hey there viewers, it's Charlie on Mac again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Legacy or Age of the Prime's Crasher. Now, this figure was actually released in both Legacy in the Speedia 500 collection and in Age of the Primes. Because I'm guessing there was just demand for this figure. And for me, I can actually see why, because they just straight up didn't release this figure in some countries, including the UK. Yeah, they just never stocked Crasher and Shadow Strip in the UK for whatever reason. Like, they went on Pulse. I just never saw them. I'm still bitter about that. Where's my Shadow Strip? But when Age of the Primes rolled around, I guess they decided to give Crasher another go, which, I mean, hey. Still want Shadow Strip though, but anyway, let's look at the box. So yeah, this is the Age of the Primes release. But yeah, I don't think there's any changes aside from the box. So yeah, we've got Crasher here in both modes. Decepticon Crasher, although I think the name should be Renegade Crasher. But anyway, it takes 18 steps. This side got a picture of Crasher, just, I don't know, shaking her fist at someone, maybe Blur, her cousin, you know. Just got some of the primes here, including my next review. So we've got Alchemist here. The back, we got her in both modes, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. And for the original Legacy version, well, here's that version's box, or a picture of it. Yeah, I kind of prefer the Age of the Primes box, to be honest. It just looks nicer, in my opinion. That might be a hot take, but I just prefer the Age of the Primes box. But anyway, let's look at the figure. So, yeah. So, here, she's pretty much a Mirage repaint or redeco. And we've had a few of those in this channel before, because we've had Leadfoot, we've had G2 Mirage, we've had, I'm trying to remember, yeah, that's all I remember. We've had Siege Mirage, Legacy G2 Mirage, we've had Leadfoot, and now we've got Crasher here. So yeah, this mold has been used a couple of times. And why is Crasher now an F1 car? Because, of course, back in GoBots, where she came from, because yes, this is a GoBots character, she looks more like Power the Prime's Jazz in her vehicle mode. I don't remember the actual vehicle name. Well, I'm pretty sure this is also meant to be a reference to Fracture from the movie toy line. So yes, this is also meant to be a toy of Fracture, who we'll see comparison photos of later. So yeah, that's a pretty fun homage. So if you want, then well, you can just call this Fracture, which I might do, to be honest. Not in this video, but as a headcanon. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is meant to be Fracture. Of course, the colors here are pretty much just Crasher, because we've got the black here, we've got the red. We've got, I'm guessing it's an 01. Got a Decepticon symbol right there. Of course, got the seat where you drive like in I cannot speak, in an F1 race. There you go. And rolling, it's I mean, it does roll quite well, but the wheels aren't pinned in, I just pegged in, but she still rolls quite well. So, there's that. The spoiler here looks pretty nice. The back, thankfully, compared to the Siege version of this mold, is pretty clean, because, well, we just have the underneath here. Yeah, that's it. That's the actual robot chest so that's a faux piece, but we've had to deal with that since Siege Mirage, so... And yeah, that's pretty much it for the vehicle modes. So looking at the accessories, of course we got what Mirage came with back in like what, Kingdom for this mold. So of course we got the standard gun. So we just plug these in. It's hard to see the ports here because it's dark plastic or it's painted black, I'm pretty sure. Trying to get these plugged in, there we go. And of course the rocket launcher can also plug in. And these can take blast effects. So we can just plug one in here. I can plug one right into the missile here if you just want that to be a gun, although this can also come out. There we go. So if you want to pretend that this is shooting off, or this can be a little tiny gun if you want. But yeah, you can just plug onto the side here. So yeah. I mean, of course in Go Boss, they didn't really use guns. Like, they just had, like, lasers shoot out their fists, so... This pretty much confirms that this isn't the GoBot Crasher. This is a Cybertronian named Crasher. But, But yeah, that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. Overall, pretty much the same as Leadfoot and Mirage. I still really like it, even if it is kind of iffy, but still better than the Siege version. And of course, comparisons, well, here's Fracture from the movie line, because that was Classics Mirage in pretty much these colors. Colors are kind of different, but you can see what they're going for. It's meant to be a Crasher homage, whereas this is pretty much a Fracture homage. So we've gone full circle, is what I'm trying to say. If anything, I kind of wish that they called this figure Fracture. Like, yeah, of course it's meant to be Crasher, but just because it's an F1 car in Crasher colors, I kind of wish that they called it Fracture, like the movie figure. So yeah. But honestly, I think an F1 car in these colors looks really cool. So yeah. And well, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the vehicle mode. So let's move on to the transformation. And of course, with this being, well, a Mirage transformation. Well, I say Mirage, Kingdom Mirage transformation. I would say, and you probably know how this works, but if you don't know how this works, you'd probably expect this to be the front, this to be the legs. You know how Mirage transforms, especially if you know the Classics figure. Well, if you know this mold, then everything is not what it seems. Yeah, this is kind of a crazy transformation, so what I'm going to do first is just unpack the arms from here, and on every version of this mold I have, they just do not peg in, which is kind of annoying, but so I'll just unpack the spoiler and the arms. I'll just move these back and move the arms out to the side. And now let's focus on the legs, because I think these are the bulk of the transformation. So we'll just split the legs here, take the front wheels, fold them down. And now what we're going to try and do is, the side bit here, we'll just try to get the foot out. And then just fold that over the front of the car. Like so. And then the back hook can just continue folding it back like so. Try to be careful that this doesn't come off, because it has done that before. There we go. So that's one leg done. So just rotate that 90 degrees, like so. So just do the same here. Get the foot out. Cover the front of the car with the side bit here. So just extend that down. Then the front wheel just continues folding. That's a foot done. And that's the legs done. And that's a pretty intricate transformation there for the legs. So next up, I'm just going to open up this little bit. Rotate the head out. And then that just closes back up. The back wheels are just going to flip in. We're just going to push this hinge in like so. You can see this double hinge. We're just going to push all this in. It's not as egregious as the Siege version, thankfully. Let's get the fists out. Tab these shoulders in. And finally with the spoilers, just rotate them up. And here we have Crasher, or Fracture, if you want to, in her robot mode. And yeah, that's, like, it's definitely a crazy transformation, but it's not difficult. Like, it can be fiddly at first, but once you figure out where things go, it's it's manageable. Like, you can do it. So, yeah. Like, it's definitely not the standard Mirage style transformation, you know, the front of the vehicle is meant to be the chest. But still, I quite like it. Compared to the Siege version, where this was just visible out the car, the Kingdom version is a lot cleaner. Looking at Crasher here, well, it's definitely easy to tell that this is meant to be Crasher, or an homage to her, at least. Yeah, the legs are kind of bent forward. That's more on me. But you can see that the backpack is nice and clean. So the port here, if you want fucking weaponizers or fossilizers, that was the thing back in Kingdom when this mold came out. And the head, I'm pretty sure it's meant to be the G1 Mirage figure head. Although the only Mirage to actually use that was the Holo Mirage back in Siege. Although that does also look like Fracture. Because, like, the Classics Mirage used this style of head. So, again, 1 point for the Fracture homage theory, I guess. And of course, keep in mind, Siege Mirage had a little port on the shoulder, the plug in the shoulder cannon. Not so much in this mold, but for Crasher, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I really like how this looks in robot mode as well, because, I mean, it looks like Crasher. Kind of makes me want, like, I don't know, Siege Spinister's copter to go with her. But anyway, giving her the accessories. Of course, we can just plug these in. If we can actually get these bloody things in here. So now she's all armed up, although, of course, as I said before, Gobots didn't really have weapons, they just shot out their hands, but still. So of course, again, we can plug in blast effects. Or we've got ports in the feet, if you want to do that. There you go. And for Crasher, it actually makes sense, because in the GoBot show, her main, I guess, attack was like stomping and having huge shockwaves. So I guess if you want, you can do that here as well. So yeah. Now for robot mode details, well, she does have some of those little pimples, I guess, to plug in blast effects and make it look like she's getting shot at. Something that they did phase out later. Okay, that one's a bit too heavy. Let's try this one. There we go. So you can make it look like he's getting shot at by someone. And honestly, I kind of wish that they'd bring this back, even if it does mean those little stumps would reappear. But still, it's kind of funny. But we can see the recreation of the front of the car with the 01 or D1. I think that's 01. They should have made it like the original GoBots number, but I think it's like that because Fracture was also 1 in the 07 toy line. So I think it's a reference to that. Of course, she's got the well, she's got that detailing here, which Mirage has, which is pretty cool. So yeah. And I guess let's just put it with Fracture. So yeah, there you go. If you want to call this Fracture, then I'm not stopping you. I might do that myself, to be honest. So yeah, not really much to say aside from I'm convinced this is meant to be a Fracture reference as well as Crasher. So yeah. But anyway, let's move on to the articulation. So I'll take the guns off for this. And in fact, just before I show off the articulation, I guess we can also do this. If you really want. A bit of EVO fusion, I guess, if you will. Might display like this, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, for the articulation, pretty much the same as his Mirage and Leadfoot. So, head can go side to side of these little mutton chops here to get in the way, so just be wary of that. She can look up, kind of. Shoulders do rotate all the way. She can T-pose. And if you undo this joint, you can also do the trigger-happy shoulder kind of thing. So you can do that. The spoilers can rotate if you want. Elbows, bicep rotation. The hands can go in. Waist rotation. She can kick forward, kick back. Knees up to there, so she can like do a stomp. Slow there at the thigh. She can do the splits. Pivot about there. And that's about it. So yeah, pretty posable. So yeah. And of course, just giving her the accessories back. Come on, there we go. So yeah. I'm honestly really glad that they decided to reissue this figure. Because, as I said, when she first came out back in Legacy, they just decided not to put this guy out on Pulse or Shadow Strip. And I'm still really upset about Shadow Strip because that figure looks really cool. Yeah, I can get him on eBay, but then I probably have to like pay a really hefty price. So hopefully they'll reissue him as well. But for Crasher, I think it was worth the wait because this is a really cool looking figure. Complaints are pretty much the same that I've had with this mold before. For new complaints, pretty much the head sculpt does get in the way when turning the head. That's about it. The rest of the complaints are the same that I've had with this mold, so yeah. But do I recommend Crasher? Absolutely. This is a really cool looking figure. Like, if you don't have this figure already, then I highly recommend it. And honestly, I feel she's going to be overshadowed by her wave mates. That being one of the primes who we're going to look at next. And in fact, there's someone else who I think is going to overshadow like her as well. That being Vortex. Because keep in mind, Vortex is a combiner limb. And everyone wants to complete the combiners. So I feel this guy's going to be heavily overlooked. But I say pick her up. She's really cool. Like, yeah, kind of failed to transform, but I think she's pretty good. So, yeah. Now, is Vortex better? I can't say. I don't have him yet. He's sort of everywhere. But for the wave I do have, well, we'll just have to look at him next. So, yeah. But, well, this has been my review on Age of the Primes or Legacy Crasher. And this is Charlie Young, signing off.